Our Parsha of the week is Toldot. Eli Toldot Yitzhak. This is the generation, translated as generation of Yitzchak. We have the end of the readings devoted totally to Yitzchak, and now we have the generation of the next generation, which is Jacob and Esau. And the moment we have the stories of Jacob and Esau, we have plenty of blessings, and indeed, there are many blessings during this particular portion. We remember, and who can forget, the first of these blessings, the blessings meant for Esau, the blessing of the father to his firstborn son. And who gets the blessing? Jacob gets the blessing. And he comes before his father, and his father suspects there's something wrong here. And he wants to establish that indeed it is Esau, not Jacob. And he says, "Who are you, my son?" That is what Yitzchak asks his son. And what does Jacob reply? Anochi Yitzchak. Anochi Esav Bechorecha. I am Esau, your firstborn son. Isn't this an outright lie? And how can Jacob, one of our forefathers, how can he say a lie? How can the Torah tolerate it? Surely it is against the whole principles of the Torah. Lying? Our sages come to tell us indeed he didn't lie. Because when Yitzchak asks him, "Who are you?" he says, Anochi, I, the higher I, full stop. And Esav Bechorecha, Esau is your firstborn son. And indeed, it is the generation of Yaakov, of Jacob, through his descendants, who become the Anochi, the higher beings, the higher thinking beings of Am Yisrael. So therefore, in that aspect, in that respect, he is not lying. Yet, at the same time, he's standing there, knowing that he shouldn't be standing there. And here the Zohar comes to tell us something amazing and important, exceedingly important. The Zohar says, Jacob didn't want the blessing. He was reluctant. He didn't want to be there. He was forced to be there because he respected his mother and he listened to his mother and what his mother told him. And why did he listen to his mother? Because he is part of a developing patriarchal society. So you listen to your mother, because she is the one who sees to it that the society continues as a patriarchal society. The woman and not the man. So he listens, but reluctantly. He doesn't want the blessing. And the Zohar says if you don't want a blessing, you don't get the blessing. Very simple. You have to be receptive. You have to want life. You have to want the gift of the life. You have to want to live. You have to want a blessing, because the blessing is all about life. Jacob doesn't want the blessing. He doesn't get it. And indeed, look at the blessing. Look at the blessing in detail. What is the blessing consisting of? It starts off with fruitfulness in the field. In other words, what the farmer gets in his harvesting, in what he brings in, the fruit and the grain. That is what it's all about to start off with. Basically, it is for somebody who is settled in a settled place. And Yaakov is anything but settled. He doesn't need the fruits of the harvest time. That is not for him. He doesn't need it. He doesn't get it. And the Zohar says that blessing is still there. It is there in preservation. It is there in keeping for the time when the descendants of Jacob will want it. And when is that time? At the end of time. And when is the end of time? That end of time is beginning now, and we see it now. We see it in those of the descendants of Jacob who are settling in that area where the blessing is giving, in the area of the land of Canaan, the land of Israel. That is where the blessing is needed today. That is where the blessing is being fulfilled. Not at the time of Jacob, because he didn't want it, but a time when it is wanted. And that is now.